Hello there gamers and gamettes, I'm Lorne Riseley, host of Defunct Games News, bringing you the good, the great, and the gooberific in the world of gaming news every single week. And coming up this week... Nintendo Direct streams live for the first time in more than a year. The new Mortal Kombat movie trailer drops just 2 months before the movie releases. And other highlights to come include the anniversary of one of the earliest gaming memes. I know, nice right? Anyways, to our first story this week, the overwhelmingly highly anticipated Nintendo Direct stream went live on the 17th of February. This was the first time, in fact, since the 4th of September 2019 we got a Direct stream, and fans were indeed hyped as all hell for the event, with Nintendo promising a focus on upcoming Switch games as well as more news related to titles such as Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The presentation was long, achingly long in fact, lasting around 50 minutes in a similar vein to Microsoft and Sony's respective events prior to next-gen releases. Nintendo made it clear prior to the stream that there would be no hardware news at the event, but some fans speculated that due to the mega edition size of the event, that there would be some cause to get excited for some kind of announcement. Alas, this was not to be. And given the number of confirmed titles, albeit without release dates, already confirmed and in the ether, many fans were left disappointed by the apparent lack of a truly blue shell moment. In particular, many fans were hopeful of news regarding the upcoming sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and while there was nothing definitive given on the stream, Zelda producer Eiji Aonuma did attempt to assure fans that there would be more news released later in 2021. However, while some may have been disappointed, many others were excited to finally get concrete dates for some of the Nintendo's more interesting and anticipated titles. And while we don't have time to rattle off everything that was announced on the stream, because trust us, there was a lot, 50 minutes worth. Here are some of the more notable inclusions in the Nintendo Direct stream. The announcement of the HD edition of 2011's Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, which will be released on the Nintendo Switch on July 16th, 2021, and will be playable with motion controls or with a new button-only controller scheme. And for the hardcore fans, you can get your hands on a Joy-Con pair themed after the Master Sword and Hylian Shield from the game, which will release separately on the same date. Good news for fans of making a mess in the name of entertainment, the third installment of the Splatoon series will be dropping in 2022, with the reveal trailer showing an inkling in a desert heading to a new city called Splatlands, and even featured a new bow weapon and customization options. And of course, fans of everyone's favourite stereotypical plumber got their fix, with the announcement of Mario Golf Super Rush, which will be released on the Nintendo Switch on the 25th of June 2021. Which features a speed golf multiplayer mode, motion controls, and a story mode, and Nintendo promises much more. They also announced that Fall Guys is coming to the Switch. Big who cares? Also, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's newest DLC character has been announced, and it's Pyra, a character from Monolith's Xenoblade Chronicles 2, who will be coming to the fighter sometime in March, plus the announcement of Samurai Warriors 5, Monster Hunter Rise's new trailer, plus Star Wars Hunters, a multiplayer shooter that Nintendo states is coming later this year. And finally of note, we're getting a Ninja Gaiden Master Collection containing Ninja Gaiden Sigma 1, Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, and Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, which will be dropping in the summer. There was a lot to take in there, but what were your thoughts on the stream? Were there any titles or any omissions that caught your eye? Leave us your thoughts in the comment section below as to what you'd like to see Nintendo get you news of, or what you're really excited after the stream. Actually, before we move on to what happened in the week in Defunct Games, we have a brand new segment for you. A recurring one, in fact. What now, Cyberpunk?
What now, Cyberpunk?
Where, given the tumultuous nature of Cyberpunk 2077's release, and stories including, but not limited to, a current-gen release on par with the Titanic's iceberg resilience, Keanu Reeves being patched out of the game, and a security system so weak that if it were tea, I'd ask them to take it back and dunk the bag in a few more times to flavour my lukewarm cup of chai. We here at DGN will attempt to predict what could possibly go wrong next for the game. My money is on a ball drop of monumental proportions by the higher-ups at developer CD Projekt Red, in the vein of Bethesda's arse-backwards dragons patch in Skyrim. I believe the developer will patch the game to such a degree that it becomes impossible to move without exploding on the spot. Time will tell if I'm right, but let's have some fun. Why don't you leave us some of your predictions in the comment section below? What do you think Cyberpunk is going to screw up next? Coming up next, we, as always, take a look back at the week that was Defunct Games, and as you may have seen, a couple of days ago, my return was announced on a quiz show. Really fun was, as a matter of fact, that me and Cyril took part in. Albeit he did have a slight advantage in that he wrote the quiz that we participated in. Even so, it was a lot of fun, and I would highly recommend you check it out. More so, I would highly ask, would you mind telling us if you'd like us to do the remaining? There's actually 18 more of them, in fact. So if you had fun doing them, with us as a matter of fact, or if you just enjoy watching me trip and fall and Cyril excel as always, let us know if you want to see more. Not content with just a quiz, Cyril also dropped a review of Astrologaster by Nyam Nyam, which in keeping with the Nintendo theme of this week is available February 18th on the Nintendo Switch, but is also available on PC and mobile devices previously. Cyril states, "You don't need the stars to tell you that Astrologaster is a great game. Though the gameplay may be too simple for some players, the pithy dialogue and increasingly outlandish scenarios will suck you into this whimsical version of 16th century London. With dozens of musical numbers, a giant cast full of kooky characters, and a biting and often outrageous social commentary, Astrologaster is a hilarious adventure that isn't afraid to draw a little blood. This is just what the doctor ordered." And if that wasn't enough, if you're still in the mood for just a tiny last little taste of the EGM Best and Worst series that Cyril recently completed, he eked out one last video for you, covering the arcade games that he totally didn't forget until I made my way up the 16 flights of stairs here at Defunct Games' headquarters to remind him of that. I wonder what this channel will do without me sometimes. But anyway, why not go check that out? It's a lot of fun, and you know it's gonna be good. Okay, so before we get to our next story, I have an admission to make. A confession, if you will. Cyril was right. About what? We'll get to. Suffice it to say, he was right, I was wrong. Let's all move on and never bring it up again, okay? The new Mortal Kombat movie, originally penned for release in January of this year, has been shrouded in mystery, with virtually nothing available in terms of footage, story, or even confirmation concerning casting and characters. But this week, we not only got the first official promotional materials showcasing all the main characters of the movie, such as Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Raiden, Kano, Sonya Blade, and the whole gang, but on the 18th of February, we saw the Red Band trailer drop harder than a beaten combatant at the end of a classic crouching uppercut. It even had a leak in Russia that was taken down faster than you could say, "Finish it!" But here's the thing. It's a video game movie. Video game movie about the grand master of all violent video games, as a matter of fact. But even with an R rating, how far is a studio going to allow them to push the violence compared to especially the most recent releases? I mean, how violent and gory can it really be? Oh my. Oh gosh. My word.
Kano wins.
2 hours later.
Aside from the grade A violence, which certainly does justice to the MK series, we also got a few more details concerning not only the characters, but also the main story. The story will follow a new character, a mixed martial arts fighter named Cole Young, who is unaware of his hidden lineage given a mysterious birthmark in the shape of the famous MK logo, and is chosen to compete in a tournament of Mortal Kombat, similar to the events of the first game. Albeit that it would appear that Sonya and Jax are in direct conflict with Sub-Zero of the Lin Kuei clan of assassins, who earlier in the trailer dispatches Jax by freezing and exploding his arms. Which, for those of you interested, I didn't see them doing. I figured that Jax would just kind of arrive midway through the movie already with arms intact. Cyril begged to differ, and yeah, they did that in the first 20 seconds of the trailer. So, well done. The trailer seems to show Scorpion before and during his servitude to Quan Chi, hyping his feud with Sub-Zero, who is portrayed as a main villain of the movie, as well as Jax, Kano, Sonya, Kitana, and Liu Kang throwing down with various flourishes and showcases of powers. Liu Kang's Fire Dragon looking all sorts of nice. Shang Tsung giving us a finish him for the lols, Raiden doing Thunder God stuff, a statue of Shao Kahn, Goro getting his Air Jordan on, and a bunch of other really cool looking scenes. The trailer seems to be painting a picture of Cole having some kind of underlying link to the events as they may unfold. My theory is that Cole is the reincarnated version of the great Kung Lao, given his ambiguity and the lack of ties to the main cast beyond his conveniently shaped, albeit admittedly badass, birthmark. But then again, I didn't think we'd see Jax lose his arms, let alone in the first 20 seconds of the trailer, so what the hell do I know? Maybe Cole's just there to fall into a space anus in the desert. But I'm interested to hear what you thought of the trailer. Are you excited for the movie, given how little information and how much information we now have? Are you excited to see it on the day it releases on the 16th of April on HBO Max? And what do you think the events of the story are going to unfold? And will it be as gory and as violent as you want it to be? Leave me your thoughts in the comments section below. But even beyond all that, I have to admit, I still have a question. Where's Johnny? Sure, he was killed in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, but I thought we'd all collectively agreed that those films never happened. And that it was like a one-time thing, and that we were drunk, and that we really loved the games, we really loved them instead. I mean, they've essentially killed him off worse than Google has killed off Stadia. Which, as it turns out, leads us to our next new recurring segment, Doomsday Clock, where we tick down the minutes until Google inevitably kills Stadia. Okay, maybe kill Stadia, they might not. They might not. Probably will though. Especially given Google cancelled all of their first-party development this past week, announcing that they were restructuring what the service would be, not to mention losing Terraria as an upcoming game, or the fact that they're now scrambling to reassure everyone that there are still 100 games coming to the service. All of this right around the time that Stadia leadership praised the development studios for all the great progress they were making, just 1 week before giving everyone their marching orders. You stay classy, Stadia. At this rate, Stadia's going to be a thing of the past before next week's show airs. But let's hope not, and let's keep our ears to the ground and stay tuned next week to see how Google is going to kill Stadia next week. And finally, we wrap up the show as we wrap up the week with some of the stories that you may have missed that we think might tickle your pickle and give you a giggle. 5 minutes to think of that. Anyway, these are some fun stories, and let's start off with our first one, shall we? Unsurprisingly, a YouTuber has made a sound financial investment in purchasing the world's largest PlayStation 5 for $70,000. ZHC, a YouTuber with nearly 1.5 billion views on YouTube, who, quote, gives away things and customizes other things, is now the owner of the world's only 10-foot high and 500-pound PlayStation 5 console, which, given the size of the standard PS5 console, makes one wonder who anyone, or why anyone, would think, this thing needs to be bigger. But not content with the gargantuan gaming giant he purchased, he spent 100 hours decorating it to look like the broadside of a downtown bus station. And here's me only owning a new studio after I donated that kidney to Cyril because he, quote, likes having spares. This week, the eternal question, can a cardboard box run Doom 2, has finally been answered. No! But someone came damn close. Bill Thorpe's 10-minute long video recreates many of the game's best moments using cardboard sets, characters, and weapons that took 9 months of work to complete. We have to hand it to the man. He's done a pretty good job, but we would recommend checking it out for yourselves. At the very least, we can now say that Doom runs better on cardboard boxes than it did on my original Yoda Digipet device. Moving on to our next story, Anders Lundenbjörk, at least that's how I hope it's pronounced, an indie game developer with a keen eye for the little details of the PlayStation 1 era and fresh off lampooning the likes of Oblivion and Cyberpunk 2077. I mean, who makes fun of Cyberpunk these days? I mean, that's so passé. Decided to show us what The Witcher 3 would look like on the original Ultimate Gaming Machine, albeit with his own humorous twist on the famous hot tub scene from Witcher 3. It's only a minute long, so for fans of the series, who want to see what it looks like, or indeed just curious folks eager to see what Geralt's tackle looks like in sweet low-res, we'd say it's worth a watch. And finally this week, the All Your Base Are Belong to Us video is now 20 years old. But bear with me on this one for the younger viewers among us. This is going to take some explaining. Toaplan's 1992 Mega Drive game Zero Wing is a classic, a game that's indeed remembered fondly by fans, but also by many who know it to be one of the first truly popular gaming memes. Back in the days before the average mobile phone could handle games more complex than Snake 2, we had to make do with gaming sites such as Newgrounds, and besides games, they also had short videos. And one of those short videos was All Your Base, a Newgrounds video that ironically celebrated the poor Japanese to English translation of the aforementioned Zero Wing. The original video was uploaded to the Flash repository on newgrounds.com on February the 16th, 2001, and highlighted ridiculous dialogue like, "Somebody set up us the bomb. You have no chance to survive, make your time." And of course, all your base are belong to us, some of which was uttered by a sinister character named Cats. Despite the grammatical errors, or rather because of them, the video was viewed and shared millions of times, a huge number in the time before YouTube, and cemented itself as one of the first true gaming memes. So there you go. Don't tell me we don't cover the hard stories on DGN. I just wasted 2 minutes of your time on effectively a really old gaming meme. You're welcome.
All your base are belong to us.
Well, that's been the happenings of the week. My name's been Lorne Riseley, host of Defunct Games News. I certainly hope you enjoyed that video. Please like, share and subscribe, and check out some of the other content that Defunct Games has been producing this week, as I've mentioned in our coverage, but that's not limited. There's actually more. There's more content than I already plugged for you, so please be sure to go check that out. Also, do us a favor, check out the Defunct Games Discord. We're posting there a bit more regularly, and we'd like to see you there as well. We wait and wait, we never see you message. We're worried sick about you. Also, be sure to go and check out Cyril's debut over on Switch Planet, another YouTube channel that we will put a link in the description below. He's going to be appearing on that channel periodically, if not every single week from now on, and he'd really appreciate a view and a watch, and so would I. Takes the pressure off me to perform a little bit, to be perfectly honest with you. In the meantime though, thank you very much for watching as always. Please take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next week. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Defunct Games News. If you like what you saw here, then you'll be happy to know that we'll be back next week with another episode. Now here's the question I have for you. What's your most anticipated video game movie? Could be Mortal Kombat, it could be Resident Evil, or it could even be Borderlands, and the Uncharted movie dropping next year. Leave us your thoughts in the comments section below. Now, don't worry, Cyril will be back tomorrow with a look at the Blizzard Arcade Collection that only Defunct Games can give you. Also, look for a review of Taxi Chaos on Tuesday. If that all sounds good, then I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then,